Welcome to today's video. Today I'm in black and white because we are doing a makeup bingo with the last 4 palettes that I purchased. We have the Gourmand Girls Silent Night palette, the Unearthly Cosmetics Dreamer palette, the Nomad Cosmetics New Zealand Stargazing palette, and the Simply Posh Aurora Lights palette. I love all of these palettes. They are freaking wonderful. And honestly, I expected this bingo to go so smoothly. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that they usually do. But it wasn't like that this time. The color story I got was not the best. And obviously, I wasn't inspired by it because this was a bumpy ride. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Heather Eaglin. I love all things makeup, especially colorful makeup and indie brands. And if you guys love those things too, I really hope you will subscribe and click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. But let's get into this bingo. So I will show you the shades that I got, and I will pop up the random number generator here on the screen. I do film with my phone, so I can't like show you my phone as I do it. Instead, I screen recorded the random number generator and I just wrote them all down. So for the first palette, we have the Unearthly Cosmetics Dreamer palette, and the first shade that I got here was shade number 2, which is this beautiful like duochrome sparkly metallic. It's a pink to gold and it is absolutely beautiful. I will show you swatches after I show you all of the numbers that I got. So the next shade for this palette that I got was shade number 5, which is Engulf. It's like a deep blue. It's so freaking beautiful. It's one of my favorite shades in this palette. You guys know how much I love a deep blue, but at first, the color story, I mean, look, it's cohesive. They go well together. It looks like it's going to be great. But at the end, there's like a twist. But next we have the new Nomad New Zealand palette. I do have a video on this one as well, and it will be linked up in the cards. But the first shade I got was shade number 15, which is this gorgeous freaking shade, Magellanic Clouds. I know I'm not pronouncing that right, but this shade is so beautiful. It's like a iridescent hollow chrome. In my video, I did use it as a highlighter, and I thought it looked really beautiful as that as well. Here is that shade. You can't really see it from here, but like I said, I will show you guys. And then the next shade I got is shade number 5, which is this beautiful purple up here. It's funny too, the shades that I got are shades that I've already used, and I wish I would have got shades that I haven't used yet, but there are only 2 shades that I haven't used out of this palette in all fairness. So next we have the Simply Posh Aurora Lights palette. I do have this up in the cards as well, but for the first shade, we got the shade Captivate, which is this cool tone green. This is one of the shades that's really throwing me off. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I really don't know. Usually, like, when I do a bingo, I have a lot of fun with them regardless, but automatically I see a look just pop in my head. But so far for this one, I am not seeing it. But next we have shade number 14, which is this deep cool tone purple called Brilliant. And we already have a purple, but this one has a different undertone. This one's deeper. It kind of matches my shirt, actually. It does match my shirt. That is, a happy accident. But there's that one. And then lastly, we have the Gourmand Girls palette. This is the Silent Night palette. And again, I'll link that video too. But for the first shade, we have shade number 9. So we have the shade Frosty, which is another iridescent topper shade. This one is a multi-chrome. It has like a white base, but it shifts from like blue to periwinkle. It is so freaking pretty. And then next we have shade 12, which is this beautiful shade called Festive. It's one of my favorite shades in this palette. It is more of a chunkier, like shimmer shade, but it is a duochrome, I believe. Now I will show you the shades up close. As you can see, it's very, very pretty, but when it comes to that first iridescent, the gold pink looking one, and that green shade, I really don't know what I'm going to do, but give me a second to figure out what I'm doing, and I will be right back, and we will create something gorgeous, hopefully. Okay, so I had to throw my hair up real quick. I wasn't trying to deal with that today, but I wanted to tell you what else is on my face. I'll have everything I talk about in today's video linked down below in the description box. But for primer, I mixed the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer with the CIATE London Vitamin Boost Plumping Face Primer. These look awesome together under foundation. They're both beautiful products, and I am so glad that I thought to mix them. For foundation, I am wearing my LANCOME Tint IDOLE Ultra Wear. I have it in the shade 120N. This is one of my favorite foundations. I love the finish. It's more of a luminous or natural finish foundation, and it's one of my favorites. For concealer, I am using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I have mine in the shade Fair Beige. It is so hard to see these, but I've been loving this. I have a video trying a full face of e.l.f., and if I remember, I will link it up here in case you guys haven't seen it. Today for bronzer, I am using the Soul Body Bronzing Balm. I have mine in the shade Medium. This is one of my favorite products. Honestly, I don't know how I haven't hit pan on this yet, but somehow I still haven't. And then I set it with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I've really been loving this again. I do have a little pan in here. For blush, I am wearing the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Blush in the shade Orchid, and this is so beautiful. I love it so much. I've even set my face, and it still looks beautiful. But in all fairness, I did top it with my Unearthly Cosmetics Devour Blush. I use the shade over here, and it's beautiful. For highlight, I used the Unearthly Cosmetics Resurgance highlighter. I used the shade Rebirth over here, and this is such a beautiful highlighter. I also set my face with the Dior Powder No Powder. I have mine in the shade 2N. This has been one of my favorites for a long time. I bought it for the first time a few years ago off of a recommendation from Samantha March. And of course, I set my under eyes with my ADH setting powder. On my lips right now, I'm wearing my Unearthly Cosmetics lip oil in the shade Ruin. This is freaking awesome. And I'm not trying to spoil anything for anybody, but I think she's got another one of these coming soon. And I'm excited to see what it is if I get the chance to pick that up. But that is what's on my face. I use my usual brow products. I will have them linked down below. So I just got these Game Beauty brushes in, and we're going to try these on this eye look. I do have a code for Game Beauty. It's in my description box. I think it's just a link, actually. And if you use the link, you save like 10 or 15%, but it is affiliated. I will say the handles on these are beautiful, and there's like little indentions, and I could see how that will be useful. I love how tiny and detailed these are. These might actually be some good brushes. I do see a flaw. There's a few, let me see if I can show you guys. There's a few bristles sticking up there that will have to be trimmed, but we'll see if we like these or not. Because so many of the mattes in this color story are so dark, I'm going to do something I normally never do, and I'm going to set my eyeshadow base. That way, hopefully, it will make blending them on this very pale skin a lot easier. I do have to film another video after this, so I would rather my makeup not be like crazy wonky, but so we're going to start this out with the Nomad New Zealand palette, and I'm going to pick up the purple shade over here. I'm pretty sure this is the lightest matte that I got. To start this out, I'm using a brush that I truly trust. I'm going to use my Singe Beauty E06. I'm just going to pick this up a little on this brush, and I'm going to pack it into the crease. I hope the idea I have with the green will work. I thought about doing the green on the lid, but where I have that pink shimmer, the tone of green that was selected would really not look well with that pink shimmer. So I opted against putting the green up on in the crease, but let's hope it works out. I'm excited to see it if it will. And how crazy is it that my shirt matches this? I'm going to slightly add a little at a time and like press it in, and then I'm going to go in with my Singe Beauty E03 and just blend on these edges. And I'm going to go back and forth between these brushes until I can get this dark purple like really blended out. Like I said, it is kind of harder to do on a lighter skin tone, but we will try to make this work. Going in with this Game Beauty EO2, I'm going to pick up a little bit of the shade Brilliant, and I am going to put this right here in the front portion. These shades do look really similar, like on the eye, but maybe it's where I put that over top of that other shade. But right here, like it does look similar, which sucks because that means we got one less matte than we actually thought we did. Now I'm going to clean off this Game Beauty EO2 on my Sigma switch. And then we are going to go into the Dreamer palette. We're going to pick up this cool tone blue shade called Engulf. This palette is so gorgeous. I would love to do more looks with this on its own. And earlier when I was looking at these palettes, I was looking at the Aurora Lights palette with the Nomad palette, and I think these two would make such a freaking gorgeous eye look, and a neutral one too, while it's green. If you guys are interested in seeing that, leave me a comment down below because I would love to create that, but if you guys don't want to see it, I will just do it like on my own time. But I'm just going to keep picking up some of this shade Engulf, and I'm going to deepen up this outer corner. That's why I wanted to put the deeper purple in here. That way, I was hoping the blue on top of this purple would make the blue look darker, and I think it did work. Now we're going to go back into that first shade, and for that, we're going to use the Singe Beauty EO3. We're going to pick up a little of this and just blend this out. And then we'll go back in with the translucent setting powder to really blur it and make sure it's all blended. But I think, honestly, for these to be such dark shades, that this looks pretty good. Going in with my Singe Beauty EO4, I'm picking up this green shade called Captivate, and we are going to put this on the lower lash line. This might not look bad because there's like greens and purples in this palette together, and they look beautiful, like pleasing to the eye. So maybe this won't be as crazy as I thought it was going to be in my brain. Now we're going to clean off this Game Beauty EO4 on my Sigma switch. This is the really small detailed one, and we're going to pick up more of that shade Captivate. And I just need to get this a little closer to the lash line. But honestly, like the brushes I've used so far, I do really like. Now we are going to go back into the Dreamer palette, and we are going to pick up the shade here called Engulf. Engulf. I think I've been mispronouncing that this whole time. I've noticed that, like, when I'm watching videos back, sometimes I say words so wrong, and I don't know why. Like, somehow I was talking about the ABH foundation, and it's called Luminous, and I don't know how I pronounced it, but it was crazy. I watch my videos back, and I'm like, why did you say it like that? Okay, I think this is it for the matte shades. We may have to go back in and like blend a little more and touch some stuff up, but I think this is as good as we're going to get it for these deeper shades. Now I'm just going in with my Unearthly Cosmetics Glimmer Grasp, and I just put some on my hand, and now I'm going to put it on the lid in this front portion. Okay, so now here's the hard part. We have 4 shimmers, and now I got to figure out where the heck I'm going to put them. The pink on the lid is obvious. Like, of course that's going to go good together. But I think I'm going to try something else. Okay, I'm going to pick up some of the pink shade from the Dreamer palette, and I'm going to place this right here. Like, not very much. I'm going to use my finger, actually. Probably shouldn't, because I do need it to be kind of precise, and I have a dog hair on my brush. This pink shade is actually kind of what's throwing me off, maybe even more so than the green. Because this green and purple look really pretty together. It gives me like witchy vibes. So now I'm going to clean off this brush. I didn't want it to take up too much space. Of course, my hair is falling. Now I want to go into the Gourmand Girls Silent Night palette. I'm going to pick up this shade right here called Festive, and I'm just going to pick some up on my finger, and I'm going to place this right beside the pink, like so. I'm going to have to go back in and like really blend these. I'm going to go into the shade from the Nomad New Zealand palette, and I'm going to use a little setting spray on this, because I want to be precise. There's so many shimmers, like I have to be at this point. I don't like this. Okay, now we're going to use my finger, and I am going to cover up this blue. We are going to have to put it somewhere else. It's not making any sense here. Okay, that's a lot better. And now I'm going to go back into this Nomad palette, and I'm going to pick up some of this shade. And we are going to put this right here. A lot better. Now we have to figure out what we're going to do with that blue, because it just looked terrible there. At first it was pretty, but then when I put that this shimmer down from Nomad, it looked crazy. Now we have no choice but to go into the shade Festive. We're going to have to tap this down here. I'm just going to do it like in the center of my eye, where my eye color is. It might be like really pretty after lashes and stuff. Hopefully lashes will save this look. I just hate that this is going to be my makeup look for my next video, but you can't win them all, right? Now we are at our last shade. We are going into the Gourmand Girls Silent Night palette, and we are picking up this beautiful shade here called Frosty, and we are going to put this in the inner corner and maybe help tie this lighter shade right here into the look a little bit more than what it actually is. I thought that shade was going to be awesome up there, but I shouldn't have put it there. I should have put it on the bottom. I made a mistake. Okay, here is the finished look. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to try this new mascara from LYS. I'm really excited. I actually need mascara, so hopefully I love it. And I'm going to finish this other eye off camera, and I will be right back to show you guys the finished look. Okay, I am back with lashes and liner and mascara. Let me just go ahead and say, I don't know if it's the day I'm having because I had trouble with my eyes at like off camera. I'll tell you about that in a second. But I don't like this mascara. It may be one that needs to dry out. It's the LYS Lash Confidence. Like, I got wet spots all over my face, and I had to let it dry and scratch it off, like 4 or 5 different ones. I could not even tell that I had lashes. So, I mean, maybe it's just the formula is too wet and it needs to dry out some, but we will see in the future. I'm going to give it a little while, and then I will try it again. For liner, I used the shade Swerve from the ColourPop Cream Gel Liners. But here is an up close of the look. I will say off camera, I had the hardest time making my eyes look even. Like, you know how some days you just have those off days where it looks like cockeyed, for lack of a better word. That's what was going on. It took me like an hour to do one eye, which is crazy. It may just be, I'm just having an off day or whatever. But it could be that I wasn't really into this color story, so I wasn't feeling very inspired by it. But you guys are going to have to let me know down below, what did you think of this look? I will say I went through absolute hell to get here, and now looking at the viewfinder, I see that my brows aren't even. So maybe I'm just having an off day, but thank you guys so much for sticking it out with me through this video. It was a bumpy ride, but we finally